Just after 7 p.m. on July 5th, a Fullerton police K-9 officer called in over the police radio that he had been involved in an officer-involved shooting.
The female involved in this incident assumed a shooting stance and pointed a handgun directly at the officer. In response, an officer-involved shooting occurred. This is the evidentiary photo of the handgun located in the female's possession. Although it was later discovered the handgun pointed at the officer was a replica, in this side-by-side comparison with an actual firearm, it can be seen that the two are nearly indistinguishable from one another. Paramedic personnel arrived and continued treatment of the female. She was transported to a local hospital where she passed away. At approximately 8:30 p.m., roughly 90 minutes after this incident occurred, the Anaheim Police Department Communications Center received a 911 telephone call from the female's father indicating that the female took their rental car, had been missing for about 3 hours, and may have wanted to harm herself.
Over the next several months, the Orange County District Attorney's Office and Fullerton Police Department will continue to investigate and analyze this incident to determine whether the actions of the involved officer were within the law and within department policy.
On July 2nd, Fullerton City Council voted 3-1 to declare an emergency shelter crisis regarding homelessness, to solicit proposals for a safe parking program for people living in their cars, and to establish an ad hoc homelessness task force to develop a coordinated response to homelessness. Council chambers were filled to overflowing with hundreds of members of the faith and nonprofit community who were there to encourage council to take these actions.
We have approximately 400 homeless folks here in Fullerton. Some of them are sheltered, so I believe the number is a little over 300, about 370 who are unsheltered. Yes, we are in partnership with other surrounding cities, for example, Buena Park and Placencia, and I know that they have upcoming shelters that are going to be built there. And yes, we will have access to those beds, but looking at the amount of beds that are being built compared to the number of homeless that are currently out there, and also looking at the other numbers, or the city's numbers, it's not enough.
The crisis is obvious, also that unless a crisis is declared, then the money to build things to actually solve this will never be gotten. So we need to declare a crisis so that coffers open up and the things that need to be done will be done here.
We're also asking for maybe going back to what we had with the homelessness task force years ago, of putting everyone together to come up with a strategic kind of operational plan that we can all move forward on in ending homelessness.
The city manager is currently working with the county to reopen the Fullerton Armory shelter as early as September 1st as an emergency shelter until such time that the two navigation centers in Placencia and Buena Park are open.
You know, things happen. Every day there's families becoming homeless now, and there's something that needs to be done. You know, we need somewhere to be able to start again.
During the June 18th City Council meeting, both council members and many residents who live in the neighborhood around Fullerton College expressed opposition to the proposed stadium at Sherbuck Field, citing the impacts on traffic, noise, and light outlined in the recently released draft environmental impact report. The report acknowledges the stadium would significantly impact noise and traffic, and mitigation is not possible.
There's been a lot of talk about the city's inability to regulate this project. This is flat out not true.
Ken Bain, who represents 568 opposed neighbors, has said that the city has land use authority over non-classroom uses of the college property, and that the college should have to go through the usual city approval process. However, Fullerton College evaded this requirement by claiming that the stadium will be used as an outdoor classroom. City Attorney Richard Jones said that the college is the primary decider on the project, not the City Council, and that Council can provide comments, which the college is required to respond to in their final environmental impact report. This input from Council and residents will be submitted to the district.
This is not a NIMBY project, a NIMBY response, in my opinion. This project is so egregious, is so out of scope with the rest of the neighborhood. I can't imagine, and as evidenced by the fact that not one person including college representatives, have come here to vouch for this project. Not one person supported this project. If the college can't get their rear ends, if the college representatives can't get their rear ends in here to advocate for their own project, I don't think we should have any business even looking at the thing.
The Rancho La Paz Homeowners Association negotiating team met with the Senior Mobile Home Park's new owner, John Saunders, and a mediator on June 24th, and were able to reach an agreement, which has yet to be signed, that would limit annual rent hikes to around 19% annually, decreasing to 7% after 6 years. Saunders and his partners have a history of buying mobile parks and boosting rents. Back in February, he announced rent increases between 40% and 70%, which would have forced hundreds of seniors to sell their homes and move without anywhere to go.
I understand that prior to Mr. Saunders purchasing the park, that there was one sale, and that as of 2 weeks ago, there were over 40 units for sale.
Without positive action by the City Council, the residents of Rancho La Paz face the same disposable, forgettable fate. Without your help, we will end up disposed of and recycled.
Following an organizing effort and public outreach, the residents of Rancho La Paz and public officials were able to persuade Saunders to put a temporary halt on the rent increases for several months while negotiations proceeded. Although the new proposed increase is incremental and a better deal than the original increases, it will still cause hardship for many Rancho La Paz residents who are retired seniors living on fixed incomes. The question of what to do regarding rent gouging at Rancho La Paz will be discussed at the July 16th Fullerton City Council meeting. Every 4th of July, a large bike parade makes its way through downtown Fullerton. This popular, family-friendly event attracts hundreds of participants every year.
Let's go!
The bike parade began on Wilshire Boulevard and circled the downtown area, eventually ending at Ford Park. To read more about any of these stories, please visit www.fullertonobserver.com. And feel free to check out these other stories in the July edition of the Fullerton Observer. Fullerton Inc. Tattoo artist Tim Hendricks returns to his roots. Why Remember Kelly Thomas 8 Years Later by Lee White. And Part 3 of A Summary of the Mueller Report by Jesse Latour. The Fullerton Observer has been run by volunteers since 1978 and is dependent on yearly print subscriptions. For less than $3 a month, you can have the Fullerton Observer delivered directly to your home and support local journalism. Click the link below to subscribe and get bi-monthly issues for only $35 a year.